Great. Thanks so much for the introduction. And thanks everyone for being here. So just to give everyone a brief overview of today, and hopefully this will go for, our portion will be about 30 minutes, and then we'll give you a good 20-30 minutes for Q&A, and we can end a little before 6 if there are less questions than that. So first we'll give you just a brief overview of what is Bricks and Mortals, which is operating Venuely, which Egbert and Ellen have spoken about a little bit already. Talk a little bit about Venuely and then dive right in and look at the website, and then answer all your questions. So here's who we are. Egbert and Ellen have already introduced themselves. I am Kate Toth, the Executive Director of Bricks and Mortals. And Van, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi there, my name is Van Pham. I am working with Venuely as an outreach consultant. Happy to see you all here today.
Great. So Bricks and Mortals is a secular interfaith nonprofit organization based in New York City. And thank you all again for taking the time out of your very busy schedules, I'm sure, to be here today. And thank you to both of the dioceses of New York and Long Island for sponsoring this event too. Bricks and Mortals empowers faith-based organizations in New York City to maximize their buildings and their property to serve their communities. So we do this by connecting congregations to experts and resources, including Venuely. We're a grassroots membership organization, and our members are both individuals and organizations from both the faith-based and real estate communities. Aside from Venuely, we hold bi-monthly membership meetings, and every meeting features a case study on what houses of faith can do with their property, and also resources like how to apply for discretionary funding. We also offer events and trainings, and we advise elected officials and the public on faith-based organizations' needs and their contributions to their communities. For instance, since last June, we've been chairing a working group for the mayor on developing housing on faith property. So all of this is guided by what we hear from our members, and that's also why we started Venuely. So what is Venuely? Why did we create it? That is the name for our space sharing website. Hope you love that name. So we launched this space sharing website to make it easier for houses of faith to rent out their spaces to community groups, artists, and others. And Venuely is a really easy to use website for houses of faith to list the spaces within their facility that they would like to rent and allow outside groups to rent those spaces. We started Venuely because a lot of churches were coming to us that were interested in sharing their spaces, but didn't have either a system or staff in place to do so, and also didn't know how to find the users. Meanwhile, on the other side, artists and other groups are really struggling to find affordable space, and they don't know that their local houses of faith actually have a lot of the space available, but aren't sure how to access that option. So the goal of this platform is to be able to help congregations not only survive, but also help them thrive, enhance your mission, and be able to serve your community in whatever way that you want. So this website was designed 100% for houses of faith and your specific needs. This gives you the opportunity to generate income from spaces you're not using. At times you're not using them, or if you already have an active space use program, to use the analytics that we have to understand your users better. And one thing that we want to stress is that you're totally in control with how you book your space, for what purpose, and to whom you're booking your space. That's really at the core. So that's just a brief overview of both what Venuely is and who Bricks and Mortals is, which owns and operates the websites. So at this point, I will hand it over to Van, who is going to dive deeper into actually using the website and some of the really specific features on it. And if you have any questions, just plug them into the chat.
Great. Thanks, Kate, for that overview of the site. And again, I'm Van Pham. I'm working to help with outreach for the site and assisting congregations in onboarding to Venuely, getting their spaces online and ready to share with community members. I'm here with you today to give you an introduction overall and a walkthrough to the Venuely site. So we'll review how a guest might find and book a space first, and then how to navigate the site as Venuely host through registering an account, listing your spaces, to receiving and managing requests and guest communication, and to reviewing analytics about your venue as well. So I'll go in for a little share screen here. All right, so we're starting off. I see a quick question here in the chat. Is this strictly for New York City? The markets that we're in right now are New York City and New Jersey. We'll be expanding to Indiana soon. That is our current service area. So thanks for that. Really good question.
And sorry, Van, I also want to add that it's actually for all of New York State. So if you're in Westchester or upstate, it works there too.
And correct. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah. It started out in New York City, and I think there is a significant need also upstate. So most of our churches are on the Hudson, but similar needs.
Thanks, y'all. Cool. So here we are on the venuely.org homepage. You'll find our mission and impact here, as well as a broad overview of how to use the site as a prospective renter or a host, and get more information about the process. There are FAQs down at the bottom and contact information for our team as well. But from here, as a guest, you can go directly to the top search bar to begin your search process for a space for your community event, meeting, and or other activities. So if you were to click this, you'd end up in the search area for Venuely. In the search bar, community members seeking space will need to enter basic details to generate potential venues. So firstly, the location. I have Brooklyn here. And since someone asked, note that New York, New Jersey are only like main areas of service right now. The additional information they'll need to enter include date and time for the proposed activity. And there are also optional filters for occupancy and price and amenities over here as well. So in this case, let's pretend I'm a choreographer looking for a dance class rehearsal space on June 22nd. I've already entered that here, and the search has pre-populated those into the page here. And on the right, you'll also see a map that gives you a geographic sense of where the venues are. So let's say that this sanctuary multi-purpose room with air conditioning that seats about 250 seems like it's going to meet my needs. So I'll click on that to open up the record. And here I'll see different pictures of the venue itself, as well as additional information about the prospective space, including a more elaborate description about the space, a list of amenities, house rules I should expect to abide by as a guest, hours of the space, insurance policy requirements, COVID health and safety measures. Again, another map that kind of allows me to zero in on where it might be within New York City. And then the cancellation policy as well. And then I'll also see a rental cost summary that's available reflecting the details that I entered for the event. It's from here that a guest can submit a request for review, though they will not be charged until the request is actually approved by the host. Or you can also start a conversation to message the host about a possible rental and get to know more about the space itself before you make a commitment of trying to request a space. So say you want to go ahead and put in the request because everything looks good. You'll end up in another space that allows you to enter more details about your requested activity. So here I would put in rehearsal. Say this is for 45 people. Probably not alcohol in this event. I would be adhering to the host rules, their insurance policy should they require it, and any food and beverage restrictions. And then a message area for me to introduce myself to the host and describe in more detail what the event entails. Now, say as a host, you have a longtime partner or want to extend a discount to a nonprofit or other community entity or individual with whom you might have a particular alignment or affinity. Discount codes can also be issued to guests. Hosts would need to just request those discount codes from Venuely site admins to issue to your guests to use at time of reservation in this booking area under add coupon code. So that way they can have a 10, 20, you name it, percentage discount off of their total price. So then the user would move forward with the booking request, provide payment details, and await the host's decision. So now we'll review what that looks like from the other side as a host. I've got here the Venuely host portal. If you're just starting out as a host, the Venuely homepage is actually the starting point to register and log in. You would click Become a Host in the top right corner of the site. And then from here, you're in the Venuely host area that has more details on the process as a host. If you just want to get started and put in your information, we've got a little Get Started button right there. You'll be prompted to enter an email to establish the account, as well as a few basic personal details and account password to get started. So hosts can register anytime with no obligations. It's free to sign up for Venuely, and there is no limit to the listings that you can post to the site. And they can remain there in perpetuity at no cost to you and your congregation. The only costs are associated are attached to booking transactions that are managed and paid through Stripe. It's our payment partner. Venuely receives 5% of each confirmed reservation, which is paid by the guest, not by the host. So once you start your account, you'll end up in this host portal. And this is the area where you can navigate the menu. So we've got messages, reservation, your space, payment, and your profile here. You can edit your profile, and this is where you would want to put in information to verify your host status with an email, contact information, and your phone number. One of the first steps you'll take as a new host to the site is to create profiles for the various spaces in your venue. And you can manage that through the Your Space area of the platform. Under listings, you'll find options to create more listings for each of the spaces in your house of worship, meaning that hosts will need to create separate listings for each potential area that is available to share with the community. So that's one entry for your sanctuary, one for your meeting hall, one for your office space, and so on. You would click Add a Space, and the platform will walk you through all the necessary details from the type of facility to capacity to contact information. Oops, I'll go back into the demo space here. To a title for the space, a colorful description for your space for the listing, photos, available hours for each space, the different activities that are allowable in each space and the pricing conditions for it, the minimum number of hours for the rental, a discount for any rentals that are over 8 hours, and then cleaning fee that you might include in your cost as a default or an additional flat fee that's passed on to the guest. The next space, you would be selecting the amenities of your space. So if you have Wi-Fi that you're willing to share with a guest, or for a dancer who might be interested in hardwood floors, you'd be able to indicate that here, and that would be searchable within the search function of the site. And then finally, opt-out activities. If there are certain things that you do not want taking place within certain sites or all over your venue, you can indicate that here in the opt-out activities area. Once you've gone through each area of the listing, if you have your host profile verified with contact information, it will then go into being reviewed. Otherwise, you have others that could be listed here as draft. So a listing would be considered available to be reviewed once you have each area filled out within the listings, and then you could submit it for our team to vet and put live on the site. In the basics area, we have just contact information and general information about your venues. That's address, denomination, and Google location verification. And then finally, in policies and rules, these are for more global settings for your venue. So in this section, you can determine needs for insurance policy, booking cancellation policies, house rules, arrival instructions, and COVID policies. You can also use this area to set buffer times, blocked dates for your entire building, or go space by space and determine those limitations for the different areas of your venue. So now we'll also navigate to what the portal would look like in action once you've started to field requests from community members. So first, we'll review the messaging capabilities of Venuli. The messaging area of the portal centralizes all of your booking conversations in one place. From here, you can manage different threads for various requests and guests without the concern of potentially losing track of them in your email inbox. In this interface, hosts can keep track of all conversations according to status. You'll see that on the right here, that this is a pending request as opposed to a confirmed request. You can also filter for confirmed bookings by using the accepted bookings link in the left side menu. And each conversation record will take you to the ongoing thread that you have with each prospective guest. Before you make a commitment to every reservation, you can use this area of the portal to gather more details, review any questions that you may have, and seek out more information that you might need from your potential renter before you agree to the booking. And once the reservation is confirmed, you can continue to use this space to communicate with your guests too for more details about the activity that's taking place. In the reservation area of the portal, it's a record of all of your pending, current, completed, and canceled reservations. Here you'll find pending requests to review. By opening a request record, you'll see the details about the guest and their proposed activity. And you can use the messaging feature from within this pop-up as well to request more details or clarification should you need it about the event before you either deny or accept it. And includes the price summary here as well that will be paid to your congregation. And once you feel confident that the guest's request is a partnership that you'd like to move forward with, you can approve the reservation from this screen. So let's go ahead and do that with this sample. So that's been successfully accepted. If you go back to the dashboard and look at your upcoming events, that now shows up here. And then each reservation can actually integrate with your calendar app of choice that you've been using to manage your rental program. Each record gives you the option to download an ICS file to your calendar app. That'll be available here within the reservation file. And after you approve a reservation, you will also receive an automatic email that includes that ICS file to integrate into your calendar. And finally, in the payments area, you'll find a place to enter your banking info to connect to Stripe to receive payments, as well as analytics related to your bookings. Under revenue, in our income panel, you'll be able to see a visual representation of the prospective, pending, and confirmed income over time for your space. And then up here under revenue and transaction history, you'll be able to receive data about your reservations, from the numbers, the type of activity, to the amount that was earned, which could be a great asset to help inform how you navigate decision-making about your rental program going forward. So that is a general overview of the Venuli site. Thanks for letting me walk you through the site's features and how we might support you in your effort to share your spaces. Our team is always available for additional questions as well and assistance, and we offer dedicated onboarding calls to our hosts. And with that, I'm going to encourage you to create your free Venuli account, and I'm going to turn it back to Kate.